These rugby matches aren't just part of history, they changed the game forever. From epic upsets to legendary triumphs, these moments redefined rugby as we know it. Get ready to relive the most unforgettable clashes in rugby history. The birth of international rugby. The first international rugby match was played between England and Scotland in 1871. Scotland won this match 1-0 in Edinburgh, establishing international rugby play. The significance of this game goes beyond the scoreboard. Rugby's globalization began with national pride and competitive spirit on the field. Rugby was largely played by local groups and schools before this encounter. This first international match started international rivalry that will shape the sport. England versus Scotland was more than a rugby match, it symbolized rugby's growing capacity to unite and divide nations. This seeded the seeds of international rugby, laying the groundwork for historic tournaments and championships. The 1905 All Blacks. The New Zealand All Blacks' inaugural Northern Hemisphere tour in 1905 solidified their place in rugby history. As the Invincibles, the All Blacks won 34 and drew 1 in 35 matches. Heavily dominant, their only setback was a heated encounter against Wales, when Bob Dean's disallowed try became rugby legend. This tour changed international rugby's power balance, not just athleticism. The All Blacks' tactics, fitness, and teamwork set new norms. New Zealand's rugby dominance would last decades after their win. International rugby expectations and methods changed after the 1905 tour, affecting how teams planned and played. An iconic moment that showed rugby's global popularity. The Miracle of Cardiff. After their 1905 tour, New Zealand seemed unchallenged in rugby, but Wales proved otherwise in 1953. Wales beat the All Blacks 13-8 at Cardiff Arms Park in one of Welsh rugby's finest matches. The Miracle of Cardiff was Wales' last win over New Zealand. Wales won, but weaker rugby nations gained encouragement from this match. It proved that a squad may do well on any given day. Welsh players and fans saw this victory as a national pride moment that went beyond rugby. Rugby legends like the Miracle of Cardiff show that passion, heart, and collaboration can defeat the strongest opponents. The Battle of Ballymore. The 1989 Australia British and Irish Lions match at Ballymore Stadium in Brisbane is noted for its physical intensity and scoreline. The Lions won 19-12 in the Battle of Ballymore, but the game is best known for their brutality. Lions captain Finlay Calder led his team to defeat the Wallabies in one of rugby's hardest matches. This match changed how rugby was viewed and played. It showed that rugby success required mental and physical toughness as well as ability and strategy. Rugby's toughness was changed by the Battle of Ballymore, affecting subsequent generations and high-stakes international matches. Nelson Mandela and the 1995 Rugby World Cup final. The 1995 Rugby World Cup final between South Africa and New Zealand may be the most famous rugby match ever, both for its sport and for what it represents. This Johannesburg match was about reconciling a nation torn apart by apartheid. Captain Francois Pienaar led South Africa against the All Blacks, captained by Jonah Lomu. South Africa won 15-12 after extra time, but national unity was the real winner. The Webb Ellis Cup, delivered to Pienaar by Nelson Mandela in a Springbok shirt, was one of the most dramatic pictures of healing and unity in contemporary history. This moment symbolized optimism and progress for a country divided by race, transcending rugby. The 1995 World Cup final is one of the most momentous occasions in rugby and political history, showing how sport can unite and alter people. Francois Pienaar famously said, "Not simply a rugby contest. It went much further." The first Rugby World Cup. The 1987 Rugby World Cup was the first global rugby event. While international matches and tours were important, the sport lacked a unifying competition. The 1987 Rugby World Cup, hosted by New Zealand and Australia, changed everything. Auckland hosted the final between New Zealand and France. After winning 29-9, the All Blacks became the first Rugby World Cup champions. The World Cup gave rugby professionalism and global prominence. The competition allowed countries to compete for rugby's top reward, improving play and broadening rugby's reach. In 1987, the All Blacks won the World Cup, cementing its status as the top international rugby championship. The inaugural World Cup helped rugby grow and globalize, making it more international. England's drop goal. The 2003 Rugby World Cup final between England and Australia is remembered as one of the most dramatic and thrilling matches in rugby history. Played in Sydney, the match was tied at 17-17 in extra time when England's fly half Jonah Wilkinson delivered a moment of brilliance. Under immense pressure and with the clock ticking down, Wilkinson kicked a drop goal with his weaker right foot, securing England's first ever World Cup victory with a final score of 20-17. Wilkinson's drop goal is one of the most iconic moments in rugby history, symbolizing composure under pressure and the importance of clutch performances in sport. England's victory ended years of Southern Hemisphere dominance in the Rugby World Cup and was a defining moment for English rugby. The win not only catapulted Wilkinson into rugby legend, but also inspired a generation of players in the Northern Hemisphere, demonstrating that European teams could compete with and defeat the traditionally stronger Southern Hemisphere teams on the biggest stage. Japan's brave blossoms. In one of the most shocking results in the history of rugby, Japan defeated South Africa in the 2015 Rugby World Cup by a score of 34-32. As part of the Brighton miracle, the brave blossoms of Japan were victorious over the Springboks, who had previously won the World Cup twice. The rugby world was taken aback when Japan scored a try in the final minute of the match, which resulted in a victory. It was a turning point for rugby all around the world when Japan won this match. Underdogs were given optimism as a result of the victory, which demonstrated that rising nations were narrowing the gap between rugby powerhouses. The success of Japan demonstrated that rugby can flourish in countries that are not traditionally associated with the sport, which contributed to the sport's growing popularity around the world. The victory of Brave Blossoms over South Africa is a significant event in the history of rugby, demonstrating that everything is possible. Ireland's first win over New Zealand. For over a century, Ireland had been chasing a victory over the All Blacks, rugby's most formidable team. After 111 years and 28 attempts, Ireland finally broke the curse in 2016 with a stunning 40-29 win over New Zealand in Chicago. This victory was a monumental achievement for Irish rugby and was celebrated as one of the greatest moments in the country's sporting history. This win was significant not just for the Irish players and fans, but for the wider rugby world as well. It proved that perseverance pays off and that even the longest losing streaks can be broken with determination and belief. The victory was a testament to Ireland's progress as a rugby nation and showed that on their day they could compete with and defeat the best in the world. This historic win inspired a new generation of Irish rugby players and fans, fueling their passion for the sport and setting the stage for future successes on the international stage. The 2019 Rugby World Cup Final. The 2019 Rugby World Cup Final saw South Africa take on England in a match that carried immense significance both on and off the field. South Africa dominated the game, winning 32-12 to claim their third Rugby World Cup title. The victory was led by Siya Kolisi, the first black captain of the Springboks, making the win a powerful symbol of progress and unity for South Africa. Kolisi's leadership and South Africa's triumph were about more than just rugby. They represented a nation's ongoing journey towards unity and reconciliation. The 2019 final was a testament to the power of sport to inspire change and bring people together, both in South Africa and around the world. This match was a reminder that rugby, with all its intensity and passion, can serve as a platform for social progress and national pride. South Africa's victory in 2019 will be remembered as a defining moment in the sport's history, illustrating the importance of representation, leadership, and unity in the modern game. We've just scratched the surface of rugby's incredible history. If you enjoyed this journey, hit that like button and subscribe. Stay with us for more legendary rugby moments and in-depth coverage of the sport we all love. See you next time.